welcome to episode 6 of Vlogmas. I was a bit sick the past 2 days, so I didn't get around to film much or anything. That's also why this video is up a bit late. I'm sorry, I just couldn't handle filming and editing. So what I think I'm going to do today, because I don't have anything to show, I filmed all of my gift knits beforehand. Because I gifted a lot of them in advent calendars, and this way I could still show them to you. So yeah, that's what I'm going to show to you today. So I filmed this beforehand, and I hope you'll enjoy seeing all of the things I knit for my friends and family. If you think you could receive another gift from me, please don't watch this or you will spoil yourself. Okay, so see you again tomorrow. Bye. Okay, so I have this basket of knits here that are all present knits for this Christmas. So they are either going into advent calendars or into or they're just a Christmas present. I am filming this beforehand because obviously if I'm putting them into advent calendars, I have to have them packed up by the 1st of December. So yeah, I'm just filming this in advance because I still wanted to show you all of the things I made. The first thing is this hat. It's for my best friend's advent calendar. We are swapping some yarny advent calendars, and yeah, I wanted to still give her something that I made myself out of yarn, so I made her this hat. The yarn is some yarn that she gave to me a couple of years ago because she didn't know what to do with it. Back then she tried to knit, but she gave up on it pretty quickly. I'm still hoping she will try it again. But now she does crochet, so she does have some use for yarn. Yeah, this pattern is the Puffy Poof hat by Jessie made. I have made this before, and I think it always gives a nice cozy hat made out of some chunky yarn. Yeah. As you can see, the yarn, it's a color changing yarn. It goes from white, beige to yellow and blue, and it has some irregular changes, so it isn't always the same pattern. I packed this up right after filming this, and this can go to hers. The second thing I have in my basket is a pair of socks. They're just some plain vanilla socks, the way I always make them, and these are from my aunt. My aunt saw me making a pair of socks out of this exact same yarn a couple of years ago, and she thought it was so beautiful and really wanted a pair for herself, and she's been asking for it ever since. So I thought I would make her a pair for Christmas. The yarn is this color changing yarn, and I knew I wouldn't have enough, so I paired it with this blue yarn for the cuff and heel. I wanted to use it for the socks, but I also didn't have enough of the blue yarn. It was just some scraps I had laying around. And yeah, I also don't have the tag of this yarn anymore, so I cannot tell you what kind of yarn it is. It's just some sock yarn. I think it's from Lang, but I'm not sure. And as you can also see, I couldn't make them identical. So they're starting with different colors because I really didn't have a lot left over at the end. I think I had like a string that was this long left over from the color changing yarn, and also about the same amount of the blue yarn. So yeah, I was playing some serious yarn chicken. And she will be getting these for Christmas. So on Christmas Day itself. Now, for my boyfriend, I made multiple things. He's very knit-worthy in terms of accessories like hats and gloves and scarves. I won't make him a sweater. I won't tempt the curse. If you don't know about it, look up the boyfriend sweater curse. And I won't make him socks because he won't wear them. He gets too hot with knitted socks. So this year I knitted him a hat, some fingerless mittens, and a scarf or a cowl. The hat looks like this. It's meant to be a set, so they're all made out of the same yarn, and it's Lana Grossa Myland White Merino in the color Pange. And it's made out of 80% virgin wool and 20% polyamide. So a typical sock yarn, only I didn't use it for socks. I bought 2 skeins of that, and it's I think 100 grams, yeah. Per skein, it's 420 meters per 100 grams. And I got a hat, a pair of mittens, and a cowl out of it, although the cowl did turn out quite small. The hat is based on the stitch count of the... Wait, how did I do this? For the hat, I used the stitch count of a pattern I already had. That's the School Run hat by Penrose Knits. No, by Laura Penrose. She goes by Laura Penrose now. And the gloves, the mittens, are also based on her School Run mittens. But I did make some changes. First of all, I didn't make any picot edges. I don't think he would appreciate some cute picot edging. I also only folded the band on hat over once. I did some ribbing, and I knitted the body of the hat in stockinette. The decreases, the stitch count, everything is based on the pattern by Laura Penrose. Just I changed the brim. And this was her biggest size. I think it's adult 3. Yeah, the 3rd adult size, I think so. And the gloves, the mittens as well. They are the biggest size she has. Right now, I think they are looking kind of huge. He's a lot taller than me. He's almost 1.90 meters. And he's a gardener, so he has some big hands. I'm curious to see if these fit or if they are too big or just perfect. I don't know yet. These also, I removed the picot edging, and let me just take one. I added some ribbing. I don't know if she had ribbing or if she just had picot edging. I can't remember. I also kept the yarn double for the cuffs on the fingers. She knits them in a single strand, the body is knit in double strand, and the cuff on the bottom is just knit in a single strand and then folded over and sewn down on the inside. My camera won't focus today. The cowl, I used the same stitch count as the hat, just because I knew it would fit over his hat. I just had some yarn left over from the other 2 projects, and I thought I would make him a cowl out of it so he has a proper set. I thought I would get a little further with this. It's just, I hope it covers his neck. It should cover it, but barely. I hope it's usable. If it's not usable, yeah, I don't know. It's just a leftover yarn. I wanted to make something with it instead of throwing it back into the stash. We'll see. The last knitted object in here is not a hat, and it's also from my boyfriend. He saw this fluffy boucle yarn in my stash, and he asked me if he could have a hat made out of it. So I said yes, but because I'm spending the time and energy knitting it and I bought the yarn, I'm adding it into his advent calendar instead of giving it just like that. So I have to buy one less thing for his advent calendar. Oh, I think I didn't say that before with these. These are also all going into his advent calendar. I am making him one this year. Last year I only gave him some chocolates. But this year I wanted to make something bigger. Therefore he's getting a smaller Christmas present because he's getting all of these little things leading up to Christmas. This is also the Puffy Poof hat by Jessie Made. It's the bigger size. The first one I showed you was the first size, the kid size. Even though I'm sure it's the kid size, but it's really big. So I don't know, a small person like me or my best friend. I think that's better than this one because this looks gigantic next to my hat. I hope it fits. This one I'm really concerned that it's too big. We will see. I didn't have the tag for this yarn either. I think it's from Veritas. That's a Belgian commercial yarn brand. I'm sure it's 100% acrylic or polyamide. Yeah, so even though it's big and fluffy, I'm not sure how warm it's gonna keep because it's not wool, it's plastic. It was tiring knitting with this yarn because I kept catching like little loops of the boucle instead of the string, and I'm not gonna knit with it again. So he gets this, and the rest of the yarn I have left over I'm donating because I don't want to use this again. I'm sure there is boucle yarn out there that's easier to knit with, but this one was really frustrating. Then the last thing I have isn't something knitted, it's just these little paintings of my initial and the initial of my boyfriend. He's called Benoit, very French name. And yeah, he likes making little wood projects, so making frames for pictures or little cars for children and stuff like that. So I thought I would make him some small paintings to go into our house, and he could make the frames for them. That's why I have them just loose and not framed. I hope he's going to appreciate this. Usually he does when I paint things for him. And that's all of the presents I knit this year. I wanted to also show you the sweater I'm wearing. This is my Christmas Advent knit from last year. It's made out of the Fable Knitwear Advent calendar I had last year. I used up all of no, I didn't use them up. I used all of the 5 yarns that I got in Advent calendar. So it was one with full skeins, one for each Sunday of the Advent, leading up to Christmas. And I made the Montmartre sweater as she proposes, using one yarn for the cuff, the neck, and the ribbing on the bottom, and the other 4 yarns for the striping on the body and arms. I love the shape of this sweater. I think it has this dramatic but classy look. But yeah, the colors, they are vintagey Christmas and I like them as colors, but I'm not sure about wearing them. So I made this sweater, but I barely ever wear them because it's just not my color palette. I call it my Christmas sweater. I wear it around Christmas time for some parties or going to Christmas markets, but all in all, it's not my favorite thing I've ever made. I want to knit the pattern again because I really like the pattern with the dramatic balloon bishop sleeves and the long cuff. And I'm thinking about maybe I have some yarn in my advent calendar that I can use to make another one. It uses fingering weight yarn, and I have some fingering weight yarn in my advent calendar, but I cannot remember what I ordered, so I don't know. I was also thinking about using up some yarn that I had in my other advent calendar last year that I haven't used yet. We'll see. That's for future me. Yeah, and I'll let you get back to the video now.